Hey guys, welcome back to the second part of the law of cosines. And again, there's a bunch of like area formulas that I give you, but I think that is dumb to memorize. Even the formula doesn't even look, I don't know, too nice. It's not bad, but I think it's better to just think about it logically. So find the area of triangle ABC if A equals 4, B equals 7, and C equals 9. Again, I don't really know what that looks like. We might have an obtuse angle, we might not. So I'm going to draw something close to 90 degrees. And this isn't going to be exact. My biggest side looks like it's going to be C, which is 9. The next biggest looks like B, and it's 7, and then A, 4. And I'm just going to draw in the angles across from them. A was 4, and across from 7 was the angle B. So, find the area, right? Well, let me just, because we need to find our height, right? So our area is going to be, I shouldn't write A, we're going to write K for the area because we already have an A. So I know it's kind of weird to use K for area, but we already have that big A. And that is going to be 1/2 times the base. And if we're using 9 as our base, times 9. And then we're missing that height. So we need to find that height. And to find that height, we're going to need either angle A or B. I'm just going to say let's find angle A. We can't use the law of sines because we don't have any angles. So it's really about using the law of cosines. And again, if I'm looking for an angle in the law of cosines, I need to involve that angle. And to do that, I'm going to need to start with the side across from it, 4. So if I'm looking for A, I'm going to do 4 squared equals the other two sides squared and add together, 7 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 times the other two sides, 7 times 9, times the cosine of the angle, right? And again, I'm going to nicen that 2 times 7 times 9 is 126. And then we have the cosine of A on it. I'm going to add that over and subtract the 4 squared over. So I have 126 times the cosine of A equals 7 squared plus 9 squared minus 4 squared. And why don't we just make that nice just because 7 squared plus 9 squared minus 4 squared should give us that 126 times the cosine A equals 114. And then just divide both sides by 126. And then we have cosine of A equals and I'm actually going to leave this as 114 divided by 226. And then when we're looking for, if we're looking for an angle, we better get the inverse involved. So take the inverse of both sides. That cosine kind of goes away. And we're going to have the cosine inverse, that S, cosine inverse of 114 over 226. And that is something that we can calculate. And we're going to get that A is about 25.2 degrees. Now, once we do that, we can find this H, right? So now we have A is 25.2 degrees. So now we could just use basic trig to find that H, right? Let's involve sides we know. Let's involve the 7 and the H with that angle. And so that would be opposite over hypotenuse, which is going to be sine, right? So let me do sine of the angle, 25.2 degrees, 25.2 degrees equals opposite, which in this case is h over hypotenuse, which is 7. And so h is going to equal 7 times the sine of 25.2 degrees. And so then we're going to get h equals 2, basically 3. Rounds up to 3, actually. So now we can go back to our formula, right? And now we have k equals 1/2 times 9, and now we have times 3. And that would be 27 halves. So we end up getting k equals 27 halves, which is the same thing as 13.5. Delta Math might want it in a fraction. I'm not sure. Just do whatever it asks you for. So that one's not too bad. And now here's Huron's formula. If the measure of the sides of a triangle are A, B, and C, then the area K of the triangle is found as follows. This equation where S equals that garbage, right? So this is an easy way to find the formula or the area, and it's actually not that bad to remember or write down. So you are more than welcome to use this, and let's go over an example using that. But again, if all else fails and you get stuck, just think about it and use what you know. But I think you'll find this to be much easier. So find the area of triangle ABC, round to the nearest 10. So our formula, again, we just had it on the page, was, I'll rewrite it, K equals the square root of S, then it would be times S minus A, S minus B, and S minus C, right? Where it tells us S equals 1/2 of A plus B plus C. And so let's just find what S is first. S is going to equal 1/2 of 72 plus 95 plus 83. So 72 plus 95 plus 83, divide that by 2, we're going to get 125. So we found S, and now we can just write in this formula. We have 125, the square root of 125 times, and then I'm going to do this step by step. So 125 minus 8, 125 minus 72. That'll be times 53. And then 125 minus, let's pick another one, 95. That's 30. I could do that in my head. I could do all of these in my head, but why not use something that'll be a little faster? And then our last one that we didn't do was minus 83, which is 42, right? And this is just a big calculation. We'll do 12 times 53 times 30 times 42. And I'm going to take the square root of that answer. And we're going to get that the area, and we're rounding to the nearest tenth, it said 895.2. And then we're in centimeters, so square centimeters. Right. And that is all for this one. So that is a much simpler way to find the area. Not I kind of hate plug and chug formulas just because that's not what I like about math. But if it was high enough level, I would love to derive this formula with you guys. But I think that might be a little bit of a step up. But again, even if you don't remember that, I think we're more than capable of thinking through this. This is what I like to do. Yes, it's calculation involved, but you kind of have to think through the triangle to find it. But that is going to wrap up the last section in chapter 5, which is law of cosines.